Financial opportunities we let pass us by. A motivational life journey through the stages of life. Introduction. In every season of life, childhood, teenage years, young adulthood, and middle age, opportunities pass before us. Some we recognize, some we ignore, some we only understand when it is too late. But today, we reflect not to feel regret, but to gain wisdom, awareness, and courage to do better. Because financial opportunities do not always come loudly. They come as habits, decisions, mindset shifts, and small beginnings. Let us walk through life's stages and the lessons we often realize too late. A moment of reflection. There are moments in life when we pause and look back. Moments when we whisper to ourselves, if only I had known earlier. If only I had made better decisions. If only I had handled my money differently. But the purpose of reflection is not regret. The purpose of reflection is wisdom. Because life gives us lessons, sometimes softly, sometimes painfully, and those lessons shape our future. Money is not just about currency or bank accounts or possessions. Money is about choices, discipline, habits, direction, opportunity. And throughout life, from childhood to teenage years to young adulthood and into middle age, financial opportunities pass before us. Some we see, some we ignore, some we only recognize when they are gone. Today, we walk through those seasons, not to judge the past, but to renew our future. Chapter 1. Childhood. The seeds we never learned to plant. Childhood is a quiet, powerful season, not a season of wealth, but a season of roots. It is during childhood that we first learn what money means, whether to save or spend, whether to delay gratification or seek instant pleasure, whether discipline exists in our lives or not. The tragedy is that many children grow up seeing spending without planning, receiving without understanding, and consuming without accountability. But childhood offers silent opportunities.
Opportunities disguised as habits. The story of Tehila and the piggy bank. Tehila was 9 years old when her dad gave her a small pink piggy bank. To many people, it was just a toy, but to her dad, it was a lesson wrapped in plastic. Every week, Tehila dropped a few coins inside. Her friends laughed sometimes. "Why save? You're a child. Enjoy your money." They spent everything: candy, snacks, toys, little pleasures that disappeared almost instantly. But Tehila continued. 1 year later, her school announced a field trip. Excitement filled the classroom, but reality followed. Some parents could not afford the fee at that moment. Some children stayed behind, disappointed. Tehila went home, lifted her piggy bank, and opened it. Her small coins, patiently saved, became a solution. She didn't just pay for a field trip, she discovered something life-changing. Small savings become big opportunities when handled with respect. Years later, she remembered that moment, not because of the trip, but because of the lesson. A different childhood story. James. James grew up in the same neighborhood as Tehila. He also received allowances and gifts, but everything that touched his hand disappeared by evening. Candy, games, small pleasures. No one taught him otherwise. As he grew older, the habit followed him. Whenever money came, it went. He later confessed, "Nobody ever taught me how to save when I was young, and I carried that weakness into adulthood." 2 children, 2 environments, 2 habits,
two destinies forming quietly. Childhood does not shout when it teaches, it whispers. And what we fail to teach in childhood often becomes a battle in adulthood. The invisible classroom of childhood. Children do not only learn from words, they learn from environments. A child who saves small amounts, learns to wait before buying, takes responsibility for small tasks, is encouraged to ask questions about money, grows into an adult who understands planning, discipline, and foresight. But
a child who receives without accountability, spends without reflection, never hears conversations about budgeting, believes money simply appears and disappears, grows into an adult who must learn responsibility through painful experience. The greatest financial opportunity in childhood is not wealth, it is mindset formation. The story of David and the little notebook. David's father worked as a bus driver. He didn't earn much, but he managed what he had. Every evening, David watched his father open a small notebook and write numbers: food, transport, rent, savings, emergencies. One day, David asked, "Dad, why do you write everything down?" His father smiled. "Because if I don't tell my money where to go, it will leave me on its own." Instead of pushing him away, he invited him to sit beside him. David started keeping his own little notebook. He didn't have much money, but he learned structure. Years later, when David became an adult, budgeting wasn't stressful. It was natural, familiar, instinctive. What began as a simple notebook in childhood became a financial compass in adulthood. Chapter 2. Teenage Years, when peer pressure becomes our accountant. Teenage years bring identity, curiosity, freedom, and pressure. This is the season when appearances begin to matter. Clothes, gadgets, style, social status. The desire to belong becomes powerful, and at that point, something dangerous happens. Peer pressure replaces wisdom. Image becomes more important than discipline. Validation becomes more satisfying than planning. The teenage years are where many financial habits either strengthen or collapse. The story of Michael and the trendy sneakers. Michael got his first summer job at 16. He promised himself he would save at least half of his pay. Then one day his friends bought the latest sneakers. Stylish, expensive, trendy. Everyone was talking about them. Suddenly, saving didn't feel appealing anymore. Fitting in felt more important. So he spent everything. Weeks later,
his phone stopped working just before exams. He needed it for study materials, but his wallet was empty. Meanwhile, his classmate David had been quietly saving a portion of his earnings. David repaired his phone without stress. Michael struggled emotionally and financially. And in silence, a realization formed. Peer pressure is costly. Discipline is wealth disguised as self-control. He didn't just lose money, he lost an opportunity to build a habit. The hidden opportunities in teenage years. This stage offers valuable chances that many teenagers overlook. Opportunities to learn self-discipline, build work ethic through small jobs, practice saving for goals instead of trends, develop skills that will pay off later. Understand that identity is not defined by appearance. Some teenagers invest in shoes, others invest in skills, and years later, the difference becomes visible. The story of Anna and the after-school skill. While many of her friends spent weekends hanging out, Anna spent hers learning basic graphic design from a neighbor. She didn't earn much at first, but she learned value creation. Her friends teased her, "Why work so hard? Relax and enjoy life." But Anna stayed focused. By the time she entered college, that small skill paid her rent, her books, and sometimes helped her family. What others called wasting time became her financial foundation. Teenage years test us with one major question. Will you choose popularity today or stability tomorrow? Those who answer wisely build a different kind of future. Chapter 3. Young Adulthood, the season of decisions and detours. Young adulthood is where life becomes real. This is the stage of employment or entrepreneurship, rent and bills, relationships and responsibilities, credit, loans and financial commitments, lifestyle choices, career direction, and every decision begins to compound. Some people use this season to build. Others drift, slowly, unconsciously, into habits that trap them later.
Story of David and the salary that disappeared. David got his first full-time job, and excitement filled his heart. Finally, freedom, independence, income. Without hesitation, he upgraded everything. New phone, new wardrobe, nights out, vacations. He told himself, I'm young, I deserve to enjoy my life. Savings could wait. Investments could wait. Discipline could wait. But time did not wait. 5 years passed. His income increased, but somehow his stress increased too. No savings, no emergency fund, hidden debts, endless anxiety. And one morning, his company announced restructuring. David suddenly found himself standing face to face with a truth he had ignored. Lifestyle without planning leads to crisis without warning. His story is not rare. It happens to thousands every year. Parallel story, Grace and the quiet road of stability. Grace earned roughly the same amount as David, sometimes even less, but her approach was different. Every month, she saved a small percentage, invested little by little, avoided unnecessary debt, took online courses to improve her skills, lived modestly despite pressure to upgrade. She didn't look glamorous, but she was grounded. While others competed to look successful, Grace worked to become stable. Years later, when opportunities appeared, Grace was ready. Why? Because she had built capacity, not image. 2 lives, 2 mindsets, 2 financial destinies forming quietly. The unseen opportunities of young adulthood. This stage is full of opportunities disguised as budgeting, learning new skills, avoiding lifestyle inflation, building emergency savings, responsible credit management, investing early, even in small amounts. But many young adults lose these opportunities because of a single illusion. There's still plenty of time. Time is generous, but time is also honest. It multiplies wisdom when used well, and multiplies regret when ignored. The story of Paul and the courage to upgrade. Paul worked in a warehouse. He earned just enough to live. One day, a colleague told him about a certification program that could increase his salary. Fear whispered, "What if I fail? What if it's a waste of money? What if people laugh at me?" For months, he hesitated. Then one day he said, "Fear will not build my future." He saved consistently, enrolled, and studied, even when exhausted. The course was difficult, but persistence carried him through. Months later, Paul landed a higher-paying job. He didn't just gain more income, he gained confidence, dignity, and hope. Sometimes the greatest financial opportunity is not money, it is the courage to grow. Chapter 4. Middle Age, Realization, Wisdom, and Second Chances. Middle age is a reflective season. Responsibilities grow heavier. Children, aging parents, health concerns, long-term stability, retirement reality. This is the stage where many people finally look back and whisper, "I wish I had started earlier." But middle age is not only a chapter of regret, it is a chapter of alignment, maturity, and renewal. The story of Mr. Thomas and the wake-up call. Mr. Thomas spent years living paycheck to paycheck.
Whenever friends talked about saving or investing, he replied, "I'll do it when things improve." But things didn't improve. They tightened. Then one day the unexpected happened. He lost his job. Bills rose, confidence dropped, pressure mounted. He saw his past clearly, the missed opportunities, the delayed decisions, the excuses. But instead of giving up, he made a choice. I may not change the past, but I will not surrender my future. He reduced unnecessary spending, paid debts gradually, started a small family baking business with his wife. Progress was slow, but steady. More importantly, he taught his children the lessons he learned too late. Save from the beginning. Live within your means. Never rely on luck. Build discipline. Middle age gave him something youth often lacks: clarity. The story of Linda and the dream she revived.
Linda had always dreamed of opening a small craft shop, but life came. Marriage, parenting, work, responsibilities, and her dream lay buried. Years passed. Then one day she said, "If I don't try now, I may never try." She started small, selling handmade items from home. Week after week, order after order, she rebuilt confidence. Eventually, she opened a small shop. It wasn't just a business, it was healing. She didn't chase lost time, she created new purpose. Because some opportunities disappear, but others simply wait for courage. The greatest opportunity in middle age. Middle age teaches us three powerful truths. You cannot relive the past, but you can rewrite the future. Wisdom grows when pride disappears. Stability is built through maturity, not miracles. This stage invites us to restructure finances, build savings and investments deliberately, plan for retirement instead of fearing it, create additional income streams carefully, share wisdom with younger generations. It is never too late to strengthen your life. It is only too late when you stop trying. Final reflection, the thread that connects every stage. Across every chapter of life, childhood, teenage years, young adulthood, and middle age, one truth flows. Financial opportunities rarely shout, they whisper. They show up as self-control, learning, patience, planning, responsibility, small, consistent actions. Some people discover them early, some discover them late, but the journey is still meaningful. The greatest failure is not starting late. The greatest failure is never starting at all. Call to action, a new beginning today. If you are a child or young student, learn early. If you are a teenager, choose discipline over pressure. If you are a young adult, build capacity, not appearance. If you are in middle age, reset, realign, and rise again. Because the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is now. And today, right now, you have a choice: to repeat old patterns or build new ones, to live in regret or move in wisdom, to let opportunities pass you by or seize them with clarity and courage. Your life is not defined by past mistakes. It is defined by who you choose to become from this moment forward.